Hey, what's up, YouTube? It is Carlos with Twins Reef, and welcome to 2021. This is the new chapter to Twins Reef channel. I told you guys this was gonna be an exciting year for the channel. A lot of builds. Summer, spring is just at the corner, so that means probably setting up some ponds and things like that. Breeding guppies. A lot of things are going to be happening. We'll see how things go. But for 2021, starting off 2021, we're going to start with 2 tank builds. We'll be focusing on the first tank build, which is the saltwater, since it's the easiest one to set up first. Why do I say that? Because we're going to be getting rock, established live rock from the Red Sea Reefer Max, the Red Sea Max E170, and the corals and everything. So it's just going to be a quick transition. At the same time, in this video, I'm going to teach you guys how to set up a saltwater tank from the beginning to the ending. So I'm going to be showing that to you guys. There are many ways of setting up a saltwater tank: reef tank, nano tank, fish only tank. But today I'm going with an all-in-one system. I personally like those better than tanks that have a sump, and with those tanks that have hang on the back filters. And again, I have the 3 of them for saltwater. I currently just shut the one down, the one that had the hang on the back. I shut down the Red Sea Reefer 170, which had a sump, never run a skimmer, and I am currently running my Red Sea Max E170 all-in-one system, no skimmer. I just don't like running skimmers. I might run a skimmer here though. We'll see if the skimmer that I have works on this tank, and if it does, that's what we're going to be using. So the story behind these tanks were that when we moved to this house, the living room is small, and we want to make the living room look as big as it can. Having 2 tanks, it's also going to, having 2 small tanks is going to allow us, again, to have more room in the house. And not only that, but I think it's going to be in a lot of our budget. So if you're seeking to have a nano tank, you're going to save up way more money than you were to do a larger tank. The reason being is you're going to use less equipment, less water quantity, less salt as well. If you're going to be dosing, you're going to be dosing less. You're going to be keeping less corals. If that's a problem, then when you have a bigger tank, you just tend to fill that tank up fast. Some people don't wait. They just keep buying and buying corals until it fills up, and then they're like, what am I going to do with that much corals? So that's a cool thing that I got this tank, because once I get rid of my Red Sea tanks, I'm going to be stuck with this, and there's going to be no other option but to keep the corals that I have here and finally make them thrive, be real colonies, not like us new reefers. We get corals, they grow a head or 2, and we call it a colony. Now we're going to let the thing grow out and be big. So I already have the plans for this tank, guys. It's going to be super clean. This time we're going to do things a little bit different, semi-different. We went with the Innovator Marine drop-off tank. I just like how it looks. I think it's going to give us a cool aquascape, something a little bit different. It's also a peninsula. It is a peninsula. So that's something really cool. You'll be able to see it from the 3 sides. But of course, having the tanks how I have them here, you're only going to be able to see them from 2 sides. But that is fine. So again, let's start off with what I'm going to be using for this tank. I told you guys in the previous video I was too lazy to do a DIY stand. Innovator Marine doesn't provide stands for these type of tanks, and for what I know, Innovator Marine went bankrupt. So if true, that is sad, because they made some amazing clean tanks, and they're gonna be missed. So I hope that doesn't happen. If it did already, I hope they come back. So I went to Ross, Dress for Less. Not sponsored by Ross. So I went there because I knew they were gonna have. They have the weirdest things there. So I told my wife, I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a nightstand or any type of stand that I'll be able to use. That's gonna be solid, and that's what I did. It fits perfectly, not perfectly, because being the length, just the back, it sits about 3/4 of an inch. But besides that, the width, it's perfect for the tank. So yeah, so I decided to go with that, matching stuff, matching lights. I was going to use my AI Prime Freshwater White for the freshwater tank, and the Prime HD, of course, I have on black. But my wife told me might as well just use both blacks, and luckily enough, I have another black Prime freshwater light. So yeah. So the light we're going to be using, I have 3 lights, to be honest. I have the AI Hydro 26 HDs. I have the Aqua Nights, which is like a Chinese brand from Amazon. I could use that, and or the Prime HD, which I'm going to do. Their Prime did come out, and Aqua Illuminations came out with the Prime HD 16s. But to be honest, the 13s that work perfectly. I don't think there's no need to upgrade. Um, why waste money when the lights that you have are working perfectly? So that is what my take on it. So we're gonna be using the AI Prime HDs first generation, and of course for sand, guys, I was being impatient. I just want to shut down my Red Sea tank ASAP. That way I get out of the living room and set these things up. A long time ago, I was like, if I set up another tank, I'm gonna use special grade sand. But I just can't wait. None of my local fish stores have them. And then I was gonna use Reef sand. Of course, none of my stores had it again. So all they had was Fiji Pink, being a sand that I've used previously. That's what I went with. I went with 20 pounds of Fiji Pink sand. So we'll see. I think that's way more than enough because I've used that for the 30 long. So I think it'll be a little bit too hot. So it's gonna be a deep sand bed, in my opinion. We'll see how it goes. I was thinking probably 15 pounds, 10 pounds would do it, but we'll see. And besides that, I went with the first time using the epoxy potty. So this is from two little fishes. I thought you could use this by itself, and you probably can, but for it to work faster, I've seen people use super glue. So I'm going to be using this to first time do it on the rocks and then do it on the corals. Being a long-term tank, which I'm hoping for it to be set up for a year or two after I buy another house, we're going to glue the corals to the rocks. Once the corals on the rocks, they're not gonna be for sale no more. They're just corals I'm gonna keep. No more messing with the tank. We're gonna let the tank grow, be beautiful, and thrive. So that's something we're doing.
So they won't be falling all the time.
Yeah, so they won't be falling, and I'll be able to place them where I want them to be placed. You know, that's something really cool that I am looking forward to. And the rocks, well, you can't see them, but there are right now the Red Sea Max E170 behind my wife, but she's helping me record. They are there, so we're gonna get some rocks from there. Already have the mount for the AI Prime. This tank comes with filter socks. It comes with the Innovative Marine return pump, and again, I'm going to use the Ghost Skimmer. Is my Ghost Skimmer that I have fixed. That's what I'm going to be using.
Hey.
And if you guys hear background noise, it's fine, guys. It's my kids. So you guys see the tanks are brand new. First time buying brand new tanks. I always buy them second hand. And I bought these because these brand new usually retail for $500, but my local pet store had them on sale for $270. That's what I purchased them. So selling a used Red Sea that I have will make up for these two tanks. So yeah, guys, pretty much you don't need that much stuff for this tank. It'll be a simple build. What I am going to do, guys, in the previous video I told you guys the stands come with like power outlets. So just being two, I pretty sure that I'm gonna need at least 4. One for the light, one for the skimmer, one for the heater, and
a wave.
And I'm not sure if I'm gonna use a wave pump. That's why I haven't mentioned it. But if I do, I'll let you guys know. And I'll tell you guys. I'll write it down in the video. Tell you guys how much approximately you guys will pay for a saltwater tank. Of course, having either both freshwater, saltwater, it is expensive. But I love this hobby because it distracts me and from being depressed or anything and being stressed out. So that's something really awesome. So yeah, so I got this T. I don't know the proper name of it, but so that is going to actually allow us to connect 4 power strips to it. So okay, we went with it's one for the light, one for the skimmer, one for the return pump, one for the skimmer, one for the heater. So that's 4. And if we decide to do a wave pump, we'll see. And again, we'll see if we'll do one for the what is it called, for the auto top off. But again, I could probably use it from the freshwater tank. I'm pretty sure the freshwater tank is gonna use less power strips than the saltwater system is gonna do. One thing I went with the nano tank, guys. I could have kept my tanks, but I'd rather go with smaller tanks because I want to sell what I have because I have bills to pay. And again, I've wasted thousands of dollars which I'll never recover. I don't regret it because at the end of the day, money comes and goes. But we should be wise in what we spend our money on. So again, downgrading, it's gonna help me a lot. I already sold a bunch of my tanks. I already sold a light. I sold some corals. Right now I have corals, fish on auction. Just on the auction right now, probably have like $400 or $500 already. People bidding. The yellow tank is going for right now like 100. I have my Indigo torch 100 and another corals at 80, $70. And tomorrow that's when the auction actually ends. So I'll see when I upload this video. But what I'm going to do today, I'm going to, I might set it up, I'm not sure, I gotta talk to my wife. But I'm going to level the stand, make sure it's leveled. One thing that I did use for my Red Sea tanks, which I never mentioned to you guys when I moved to this house, because the floor is not leveled. It is I think this house is almost going to be 100 years old. Like in 2041, it'll be a 100-year-old house. So the floor is not leveled, and of course it's a crawl space foundation. It's not a cement, concrete foundation, so they get unbalanced. So I got these things. I forgot what the names are these for, but these actually help you level a stand or whatever you're gonna use, table, couches. It will help you level them. So I have two here, but if I need more, I'll get more. So we'll see how it goes. So yeah, and one thing that's gonna help me, guys, it is of course my level. So that's what I'm gonna be using. I'm gonna level the stand, make sure everything's good, and I already have water prepping. I did 15 gallons of water, which I'm guessing that's how much this tank's gonna use. If not, probably could use 10 gallons of water, because adding the rocks and sand will take away from the water volume of the tank. Anyhow, guys, stick to this video, and we'll go on to setting up this tank. Alright guys, so far we just added the live sand, so it's about 20 pounds of live sand, which in my opinion is enough. For some it might be a little bit way too much. As you guys see, it's going to be a deep sand bed, which is fine. That works for me. And then also on the back, on the upper section, I made whatever's in the bag a little bit more deeper. So now what's gonna be next, we're gonna be adding the rockscape, and we'll figure it out from then. We'll do the next clip. Hey, what's up guys? So right after I actually added the sand, you guys know the water got all blurry and stuff. So this is actually 2 days after I added the sand, but just that same day, guys, I added the rocks and I added the euphilia. I actually just moved the Red Sea that same day. I removed all the euphilia and placed them here at this tank. Again, for me, I didn't have to cycle since the rock was already live. It's been that rock has been with me like for almost 3 years. And then of course I transferred the ceramic rings, so I didn't have to go through a cycle of the tank. If you guys are starting new, then of course you guys are going to have to wait to test the tank for cycling, guys. I go with the API test kit. There are others like the Red Sea or the Hanas, but I use API since it's just to start off the cycle. That's a simple test kit that I use, and it always has worked for me. And usually when I set up new tanks, I always dose with live beneficial bacteria, but this time I didn't, and there's no need, guys. So that same day, guys, what happened, like I told you guys, I went over the equipment with you guys. I don't know if in that video or that clip, I had already told you guys I added the AI Prime. I added the AI Prime HD 13 LEDs, first generation. And the tank came with the Innovative Marine stock return pump. That day I did add 20 pounds of Fiji Pink sand, and I would have preferred to go with the Reef sand or with the special grade sand, but this is all they had in my local pet stores and the easiest and fastest way to get sand, and I was just so excited to set up this tank, so I went with it since I've already used it. I mean, it's not that small, not that big. It's okay, not perfect, but it's just fine. It'll do. So that's what I went with. And again, me and my wife, we chose the best rocks. And to be honest, just aquascaping this tank was really fun for us. And in our opinion, it was really easy. Having that little back wall right there really helped us to set up the rockscape. We were gonna use the epoxy on the rocks, but we didn't. There was no need for it. Everything looks and feels stable as well. So right after we did the rocks, we waited like a couple of minutes, and then we transferred the Euphilia because yes, princess. Yes. You want to eat? Huh? Yeah? Okay, I'll get you a snack right now, okay? Alright. So, let me get Hetzy a snack and we'll get back to what I was saying. Alright, so right after we set up the rockscape, we waited a couple minutes, max, probably 5 minutes wait. We actually transferred the Euphyllias to this tank because, like I said, I just wanted to move, transfer that Red Sea Reefer out of the living room. Right now it's currently in the garage, so we will do an update on that tank soon. So I placed all my Euphilia. I was like, you know what? I was going to put these in an auction. As you guys know, I put all my torches in an auction, and I was like, I'm going to just keep the Euphilia here. I think it's going to be like a Euphilia tank with mushrooms and probably some scullies. That's what I'm going to be doing. So we transferred them that same day. The water was still blurry. That's why I didn't record, guys, because it was basically wouldn't be an attractive video. I don't think nobody would have wanted to watch that. I know many people, when they set up new tanks, they wait through the cycle. After they add the sand, they'll put that clip and wait a couple of days until it clears up. Of course, the live sand comes with that little bag that helps you clear the water with a couple of hours, and it did its job. The next day, the water was cleared, but I just wanted to wait that the corals did well, and they've been doing well. It's been 2 days. So just yesterday of making this video, I just shut down my 6-gallon innovative marine tank. I'm always shutting down tanks, and I transferred all the hammers here. I've also brought the spicy lemon fabia from the Red Sea Reefer, the Red Sea Maxi 170. And then I have all my mushrooms up here in this upper port. As you guys can see, I have my Sunkiss and these other Recordias and Rhodactis corals as well with the golden gonzos. They are here. As you guys knew, on the Red Sea Maxi 170, the fishes that I had were the two, they are now called the Black Storm clownfish. I bought them at Smokers, but they turned black, so they're Black Storms. The yellow tang. I had the purple dotty bag and the Mandarin goby. On this tank, guys, I only decided to keep the Black Storms and the Mandarin goby. I never saw that purple dotty bag that active, and always he would always be hiding all the time. So I was like, you know what, I want a fish that I'll be able to see. So I kind of wanted to add him because he's purple, but I was like, no. I'll see what other options I get of adding nano fish. I probably just want to keep 4 to 5 fish. Now I have 3, so that gives me a limit of 1 or 2 more that I'll be adding to this tank. But like I said, we have here the Mandarin goby, as you guys can see him right there. And we have the Black Storm clownfish pair. And we only have 1 torch since I didn't put this one in auction. Since it lost its color and it's now recovering its color, I didn't want to add him to the auction just yet. We were going to wait. And of course, I brought all the cleanup crew. We have right here the blue electric. I think that's what they're called, hermit crabs. I've also seen them called blue knuckle hermit crabs. We have the regular hermit crabs, as you guys see them right there. We have a couple snails too. So we'll see what else I'm going to add to this tank, guys. I'm in love with this tank now, not only because I just set it up, but I think it is just perfect being a nano tank. This is what I've always wanted after I moved to this house, because I was like, the living room is too small. Having large tanks, it's either having a nice living room or having a nice tank, and I prefer to have a larger living room area as well. So for now, this is going to work for me. As you guys can see, it's a nice tank, nice size aquarium, 20 gallons, integrated marine drop-off tank. This tank's going to be set up for about a year or 2. We'll see how life goes. You know, tomorrow's not promised for nobody, so I don't make plans for tomorrow, but God willing, after our second house purchase,
I'll look into a house that has a big living room. That way it would allow me to set up a big tank, or a house that has a nice garage or basement. We'll go from there. But for now, guys, this tank's gonna do well. So you guys are supposed to be seeing updates on this tank. No more tanks, just this one and the one next to it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep fragging corals and put them on auctions. I have made money that way, but we'll see. I don't want to maintain a lot of aquariums. I just want to keep two tanks. You know, I don't want to make this a job. I want to make this a hobby that I enjoy seeing. So let's go with the aquarium real quick. And for those that are new, I lost like $500 worth of corals, which they are right there. You know, just to remind me of this hobby. We went with the first generation AI primes. Again, the Innovator Marine stock return pump. For heater, we went with the Aqueon Pro thermostat as well. I was thinking of getting the cold bat one, but they don't sell those at my local pet store. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try this. It looks like a solid thermostat. It's probably the highest quality of Aqueon. We got it from Petco, 40 bucks, 100 watts, treats up to 40 gallons. So it should work for me. I am going to set up, guys, a temperature control. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Again, that's why I lost these corals, because I had no temperature control. The heater went bad and cooked all my corals, so I'm going to be adding that next. I also have an auto top off system, which I'll be adding to this aquarium. For right now, I'm gonna be topping it off by myself manually, but on the weekend, today is Thursday as I'm recording, but on the weekend I am going to be installing the auto top off that I had on my Red Sea tank for this tank, and as well for the next build. We'll see. I don't have an auto top off for the next tank, but for this one I do already have it, so I'm gonna be doing that. I try to use the ghost skimmer that I had on my 30 long Innovator Marine tank, but it was just a bit large by a couple centimeters, so it didn't work for this tank. So I gotta get like a desktop size skimmer. Again, I never run a skimmer on my Red Sea Reef for 170, and on the Red Sea Max E170, even though I had it, I never run it. So I'm thinking about it, debating. As long as I have some good carbon infiltration system, it should be fine. I do have the ceramic rings. That's it. The stock filter socks it came with. I'm pretty sure they sell custom caddies for these, but I'll just use a filter sock, guys. I'm not gonna be wasting that much money on this hobby anymore. I had these what are these called? These filter guards, we'll call them, from Innovator Marine as well. They are made by Innovator Marine. These were on the 30 long. Again, this being a smaller nano tank, I actually had to cut it to make it work, because you know it'll hit here and it wouldn't be able to actually stick. I don't really think I need it for the salt water, but I have two, might as well use them. I'm just going to keep them, and we don't want nothing to get lost back there. No fish, you know, have an accident and get stuck right there. And I'm definitely going to need it for my next build. I have no wave pump. I don't know, should I add one? I don't think I need one. Euphyllia, like hammers, frog spawns, they don't really require that much flow. Being a small tank, guys, I don't really think I need a wave maker, a wave pump. I mean, for the torch, probably would appreciate a little bit of more current. I know the euphyllias are fine. The tank just turned on approximately an hour ago, so things are just opening up. Just yesterday when I was looking at this tank, everything was super big. Again, this is just the first video of the setup of this tank. From there on, we'll go to any add-ons, how the corals are doing, how the corals are how the corals are acclimating to this tank, and whatever we get rid of, what we sell, and new picks that we get for the tank. Right here, we have a baby jawbreaker, which I'm gonna check on it since the tank just turned on. Hopefully it's there. What else, guys? Okay, so first time making this being my permanent tank. My wife on my Red Sea, she's like, if you're gonna keep it, you better mount the corals so they won't fall. You don't want to disturb the corals and disturb the girl and disturb them thriving on your tank. She's like, if you're gonna set up this tank, let it be your permanent tank. And I was like, and she's like, you mount the corals. I was like, well, if you let me keep the tank by the tank, then I'll do that. She's like, okay, go for it. So with her help, guys, she actually mounted all the corals, and with her help, we decided where to place them. We did use the epoxy putty. I think that's the proper name for it. The epoxy from Two Little Fishes, to help us like mold the frag plugs. We were gonna remove the corals from the frag plugs. I was like, oh, let's just keep the frag plugs and put the epoxy underneath it, and just, you know, push it towards the rock and make it attach. But we did use also glue, super glue gel from Super Glue. I think that's the original company, the original super glue. That's what we used. Where was I? So we use that to help us actually mount all the corals. And that's it. As you guys can see in the bottom, you guys can see a little bit of the epoxy underneath the frag plugs. You can see it. That's what we did. Super excited. This is something different for us, guys. First time actually mounting the corals to their permanent place. So that means these corals are not going to be for sale. I'm not going to be moving the corals placements. They're going to be here. And hopefully they all work out, guys. Again, we have the octospawn, the orange octospawn. We have a purple tip hammer. We have the hologram hammer, a toxic hammer, splatter hammer. We have the bicolor hammer. I think that one on top is the bicolor hammer. And then we have the gold/orange hammer. And over there we had a torch that at one point it was like green tips or green tentacles with yellow tips. That it lost the color, it bleached, and now it's recovering itself. But besides that, that's pretty much for this tank, guys. If I add any equipment, like I said, it might be a skimmer and a wave maker, which I'm pretty positive. I'm pretty sure, I mean, that it's not going to be no wave pump. I think this tank is just small. If anything, I will upgrade the return pump to the Mighty Jet return pump, or we'll see what other options there are for return pumps. So that's another option I might think of. And for skimmers, I'm not so sure, guys. You know, it looks pretty clean up there. I've never had an issue running any tank, doesn't matter the size, without a skimmer. I've always had success. So I might just not add a skimmer here, as long as I do a water change once a week and be careful to not overfeed. I think corals would do fine. One more thing, guys, when I was removing the corals and the rocks from the Red Sea Max E170, I found my digitata. They filled a minute ago, a couple months ago, and the skeleton is white, but you could see the tentacles coming out. So I think it was an orange or bubblegum digitata, and it looks like it's gonna come back. I see the little tentacle sweepers coming up. Sadly, the camera doesn't pick them up, but hopefully on my next update, you guys will be able to see them. So yeah, I found them and they look pretty good. So this is the video on the Innovator Marine drop-off 20-gallon tank. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys got some information of it on how to set up a saltwater tank. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me either through the comments, or I don't know if YouTube still allows people to private message the content creators, but we'll see. Anyhow, guys, I am out. Thank you guys for watching. Till later. Peace.